So firstly we want to go inside the master looks folder and scroll down, and the first action we want to play is called cryptic, so I could click play on that action. Next we want to apply like a sepia tone to the image, so we scroll down to the bottom of our master looks folder. We have an action called sepia strong enhance 2, so we click play on that one. Okay, so what I want to do now is bring up the shadows a little bit because they're just a tiny bit dark. So if we go into our master contrast folder, scroll down and play shadow brightness strong, click play, and we'll bring it up to 100%. Okay, so it's a bit weak, so I'll just drag it up one layer and I'll bring the opacity back down to 0 and just drag it up a little bit to bring a bit more detail back in the shadow. So next what I want to do is flatten the image. So if we go to the top of our master contrast folder, click on flatten image. So now this, what we have is our background. Now what I want to do is add a bit more sharpness and detail to this image. So I'm just going to go down and play HDR strong contrast. Just click play on that action. And we'll set the opacity of this to about 30%. So if I just hit, probably a bit lower than that actually. Let's try about 15%. Okay, next what I want to do is add a bit of a glow to these highlights. So there is an action at the bottom of the master looks folder called bleak. I'll scroll right down the bottom here. It's this one here. Now if I click play on this action, we have this look. It's a bit intense for what we need. So what we want to do, we don't want the color from that effect, so we'll delete that. We want the luminosity, so we'll bring that to the top. And actually no, we'll keep it below the HDR strong, and we'll bring the opacity back down to 0, and we'll just click and hold and drag to the right to bring on the effect very subtly. Okay, so that is it. So now what we want to do is just sharpen the image up a bit more. So we scroll to the top, click on finish sharpen, click play. And what I think we might do with this one is put our radius quite high to about 5 pixels, and we'll bring the amount down to say about 10. Okay, so that's our final look. So if I just now import our original photo and I'll place it over the top, so we can have the before and after effect. So let's now go ahead and apply that same effect to a different photo. So let's go ahead and open up an image. So remember, we want to play the cryptic action inside the master looks folder. So we scroll down, play cryptic. You can see that the cryptic action alone does quite a good job at bringing out a lot of detail in an image. But what we want to do now is add a sepia tone to the image. So inside our master looks folder, right at the bottom here, we have sepia strong enhance 2. Click play on that action. Now what we want to do is, I'll go ahead and flatten the image, and we're going to bring out a lot of detail in the skin. So click on this action, top of the master contrast folder, flatten image. Next we want to apply some HDR to bring out some sharpness. So we're going to play HDR strong contrast, and we'll bring the opacity up to about 70% for this layer. Next we want to bring some red tones back in the image. So what we can do is play the intense action, and you can see what it's done here. The blending mode is set to normal, but we want to actually set that to color. We just want the color to shine through to the background image. So we'll bring this up the layer order, and we'll bring our opacity back to 0 and just bring it up a little bit. We've got 30, around 40% should do. Next we want to apply a bit of a glow to the highlights. So if we scroll down to the bottom of our master looks folder, and play bleak. We'll delete the colour from the layer and we're left with the luminosity. So we're going to experiment with the opacity here. So there's 0, and there's 100, so we're going to go somewhere between 60% will do. So now let's go to the top of our master contrast folder and we're going to sharpen the image. Click play, and we're going to set a high radius, 5 pixels, and for the amount somewhere around 30% will do. Click OK, and there's our final look. So let's now, I'll import the original photo again. So there's our before and after. Before, after.